Well, Seymour.
D&D from A to Z, spells for you and spells for me. We will see what we will see today. Locals galore and monsters roar, nerds adore forevermore. Let's explore some ancient lore. Hey, hey. Hello, welcome. My name is Jordan Maywood and I am the Alphabetical DM. This show is where I pour forth from my mind the meager roleplay game knowledge I have, such as it is. On that note, I should mention that as I push this button, you will see just about everything I say will be opinions, so please keep that in mind and have your own and share your own, because that is delightful. Share them below with others. Share and share alike. The only thing you can't do, or rather shouldn't do, because I'm not going to tell you what you can't do, I'm not your boss, is to tell other people that their opinions are wrong. That is often a road to madness, and while madness can be fun, it's not always. So keep that in mind. Let's move on to our subject ID. That's an interesting one, and something that, like a lot of subjects in the D&D realms, can and often does have a negative connotation. However, it also can be a very, very useful tool and something I have used repeatedly. The very first campaign I ever ran was based on the Adventure Zone balance arc a little bit. If you're unfamiliar with that, it was an incredible journey. Many, many things happened, but it started off as a group of adventurers traveling around trying to retrieve the grand relics. I took that part of the campaign, and then sort of melded it into my own thing. So, starting with that base, using someone else's base idea, and then by the time I was done with it, it looked nothing like. Basically, I'll just give you a little bit because we're here and why not. My grand relics were there was a big red nose, there was a giant brown, a big green wig, a squirting flower, and a joy buzzer. Basically, it was all things that made up a clown, and the big bad ended up being a evil lich clown thing. So, quite a bit different, but starting with that nugget of an idea, perfectly fine, and I like it. So yes, I think I just said that. 100% you found it, and yeah, there you go. Hey, I don't even have to read. Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay. Uh, I just realized that everything I just said is what's in my notes, but I wasn't reading my notes. So, hey, we're done, I guess. Subtle tweak. Yeah. Okay, let's just bring up that part. Taking an idea, giving it. You know what? You could probably take that idea, give it no tweak, and then give it to your players, and it would be totally different. End in a totally different experience from the people who first played it. That's why things that can happen in a written D&D campaign, a published one, with a different set of players, the outcomes can be vastly different. So, with that same thing in mind, taking someone else's idea, subtly twisting it just a teensy little bit to yours, vastly different results, and can happen quite quickly. So that's a sort of fascinating thing, and what makes for the sort of infinite replayability of D&D are things like that. That minor changes can have vastly different results, which gives me the goosebumps just thinking about it. You know what else does? Oh my, an adult black dragon. On the note of adult, we're going to have a few adult things in a row as well, because alphabetically, lots of things start with adult. So keep that in mind, just like we have a few Abbeys in a row. Okay, so I mentioned this before when it came to acid some of the acid spells we had. Am I recording? Yeah. Jeez, that would have been bad. I did do that once where I got to, I think, about this point and then looked up and saw I was. So, good to check. Check. Anyways, this came up with the acid spells, and it's going to come up now with regards to why I like black dragons a lot. And I think it's the acid. Fire, I've got a lighter over there. I can go give it a flick. Water, ice cubes in a fridge right over there. No big deal. Acid. Where is acid? Where if someone said to me right now, "Go get me some acid," where would I go? I have no idea. So that adds to that sort of little bit of mystery and intrigue and magic that makes these sort of things exciting, I find. And plus, there's the image of being burned alive is pretty horrific, but then the image of being like melted with acid is, I'm grimacing, and that wasn't a put on grimace. That's an actual grimace. Amphibious. Oh, okay. I actually didn't know that. Lots of attacks. What's their CR? 14. Yeah. Got some legendary actions in there. Your classic wing attack that can sort of buffet players. Grasping Tide. Okay, that's pretty good. Ooh, I think of the black dragons I've read about in literature and various Forgotten Realms novels, I think usually live in swamps. Is that? Oh, I don't know if you can hear. The cops are coming. They hear me talking about black dragons. Look, well, I don't know if you can hear that or not. That's racist. A cloud of swarming insects fills a 20-foot radius sphere. So that's pretty creepy. Imagine being acid shot at you while being bitten by insects. It's a horrific, horrific thing. So rating for adult black dragon. I think I'm going to go, this is my first 5 out of 5. Dragon's cool in general. I think Black Dragon has probably always been my favorite. I do remember once in a campaign, reached into a bag of holding, and it was like I think there's like a trick bag of holding, and pulled out. It wasn't an adult black dragon, but it was a black dragon, and we basically all just ran away at that point. Brutal and cruel, yeah, they're known for their cruelty. Foes, yeah, don't mess with a black dragon. Let's get a look at them. Always cool pictures too. Whenever you, if you're looking for, well, yeah, like look at that one. Oh, that's kind of nice. It's taking care of its eggs. Then there's this guy wearing black dragon wings. Anyways, as I was saying, there's always tons of cool pictures of black dragons when you go online. Easy to find. Don't worry about it at all. Let's move on to spell. How about alter self? Ah, you assume a different form. Hey, don't we all want to do that from time to time? When you cast a spell, choose one of the following options. Aquatic, so that's cool for if you're in a campaign that's going to be going underwater at all. Gives you some water breathing. Swimming speed equal to your walking speed, which is interesting because otherwise going to be difficult. You're going to have some difficulties. Gills, little water world ish there. Change appearance, literally what you look like. I think there's a thing on height. What the hell's going on out there? I live in a very small town, so very strange to be hearing so many sirens. Anyways, duration. Oh yeah, what is the duration on this? Up to an hour. Okay. Natural weapons. Yeah, this one is interesting. Claws, fangs, spines, horns, unarmed strikes, 1d6 bludgeon damage. My thought always here is when you have unarmed strikes that deal extra damage, if you are a monk where your unarmed strikes are already quite damaging, something like cool, and they probably do stack, I would assume, just for the sake of coolness. Having a monk who's already good at punching suddenly have claws and be able to hit with them, that's sort of a cool idea. Alter self, get some, what are these, magic cards? Yeah, not quite sure. Don't know what's going on that one. Interesting. And Asmodean advice. Okay. Oh wait. Using a disguise kit, using disguise self, using alter self. Okay. When you're infiltrating. Yeah, that's an accurate one. An accurate meme. I like it. unplanned, accurate memes. Let's move on to location.
You have arrived at your destination.
Location. Aforementioned, is this our third Abbey? I don't know if the next one has an Abbey as well. We'll see. The Abbey of the Blinding Truth. Cool name, though. We'll say that much. Was a temple devoted to the maimed god Tyr. Getting cooler and cooler, this one. Located in Westgate, which I think is a pretty badass city. If I do recall. We'll have a look at Westgate as well. I think it's like a Gotham City type. Year, militant High Lord Gigor Khazar led the clerics, monks, and paladins. Pretty cool. Let's just see where Westgate is. Westgate, seedy and squalid metropolis. This is like your Gotham City. So that's pretty cool. Check a map. Oh yeah, we got a map of it there. When you can find a map like this, very handy for your campaign as well. So this abbey in this cool city. Oh shit! I forgot to give a rating to Alter Self. 4.7. Yeah, it's a cool spell with. I like a spell that has choices, options within. You don't get that too often. So, you know what? I'll go 5. Yeah, that's gonna be my first 5 spell as well. I like it. Abbey of the Blinding Truth. You know what? Gonna go ahead and give it a 5, and I'll tell you why. This abbey to this god in this cool city has so very much you can work with, that it's an overflow. Plus, I want to say I have an episode where I give everything 5 out of 5, and this is the first opportunity I've had to do so. So why the hell not? Moving on to a scenario. A scenario where we're going to combine these 3 5s out of 5s, which is pretty cool, and I've called this one Evil Genius on Acid. Oh, I do vaguely remember this one. So this is a further 5 out of 5-ness came from this, I hope. Question mark. If you're unfamiliar, scenario, combining these for you to use in a campaign, use in a backstory maybe, used as just inspiration for something else. Okay, so an evil warlock used the spell Altered Self to appear like an adult black dragon's minion in order to get the drop on it for the purposes of capture and exploitation. Ooh. The warlock forced the dragon to repeatedly use its acid breath again and again, day in and day out, week after week. After an entire year of this torture, the warlock has accrued an enormous stockpile of acid in his mountaintop lair. He's now holding hostage all town and cities at the body of water known as Dragonmere. One of those maps showed that this abbey was sort of near that, so I used it. With the threat of unleashing this torrent that would devastate anything touching the water. Okay, well, English. Including the town of Westgate, where the Abbey of the Blinding Truth is located, an abbey with a temple to Tyr, god of law and justice. Not my best in terms of connection. Yeah, connecting the abbey to it wasn't ideal, but I'm going to delete that. There, now it is good, right? Basically, what I liked about this is having a baddie, this evil warlock genius, with a stupid idea. Quite often in comics, you have things from the Tick are coming to mind, specifically, but ones where the evil genius, his idea is so convoluted that it doesn't make any sense, and I like to bring something like that into D&D, and a incredibly giant pool full of black dragon acid is just such an idea. And holding hostage, I find that's a thing that those sort of comic book villains often do. So this is a sort of comic book villain, evil genius in the form of a warlock. Why the hell not? Let's move on to viewer question. Viewer in quotes as, until you know what, I haven't said this yet, until I start having questions that I can pull from the Underdark below. I'm pulling these from Facebook. I will say I plan to have 10 episodes recorded before the first one drops is the plan. That way I have a nice buffer, and I've learned from the world of podcasting that that buffer is what makes keeping consistent possible. Is if I don't want to record 1 week or I can't record 1 week, having that ability is what makes this feel not like work, which I gotta say, what is this, episode 5? Not feeling too much like work, and I like it. Okay, so this question pulled from Facebook. I have a player who's moving. Oh, that's sad. I had the same thing happen, and will no longer be able to play in a game, and he wants his character to go out in a blaze of glory, which I do enjoy. How can I do this so the other players do not intervene? Yeah, that is tricky. One option is them all knowing. I don't necessarily, because going to take away some of the drama. The on this place is first and foremost number one step. You don't want to just spring that on them, but also going to make whatever you do much easier because you have them on board, which is always a fun thing to do in general. I know Matt Colville somewhat recently spoke of this, the idea of having secrets, or not even necessarily secrets, but things known between the DM and a specific player that the other players don't know. I do like that idea. I haven't really done it too much. I guess I have a bit with characters of my own, but I'm always willing to do it with my players. And you know what? I should throw that out, making a mental note. Mental note that I want to offer that ability to my players, that if there's things they want to have of this sort of variety, it's sort of a cool thing you can do. Anyways, so he did mention that it was taking place in the jungles of Chult. If it was going to be outdoors, I almost feel like this might not work necessarily. This has to be sort of in a confined space, my idea that I have here. Getting your player on board. Okay, so in a jungle temple, they could be crossing a 5-foot wide bridge. Make it long. Yeah, you want some space so that quick things can't happen. There's going to be turns that are needed in order to traverse this. Halfway, there's a pedestal with a lever that is rested in place. At the other end of the bridge is a large sealed door. The lever opens the door, but it has to be held in place, and only the barbarian's strength can hold it. So, there's probably ways you could get the barbarian to get it in place and then have something hold this in place. Now, that scenario is made much more difficult if time is of the essence, which is what's going to happen next. So they might be able to figure out a way around this, but there's no time, as from the darkness below is a seething mass of undead, World War Z style, climbing up the walls in the direction you came from. Barbarian says he will hold it as long as he can. Last thing they see as the door seals shut is falling over the edge where he meets his end. Bonus for a Gandalf style resurrection if the player. Rule of sort of comic books and I guess D&D as well. If you don't see the body, it's not necessarily dead. So I kind of like leaving the little glimmer of hope. You never know, and the fact that the seething mass of zombies coming and you will all die if you do not immediately leave means that coming up with ideas for holding this lever in place much less likely. And the other thing you could do is that try one of those and then it just sort of bounces back depending on checks and stuff. But I almost feel like the tenseness of the situation would be such that as long as you have the timing so down to the second where if they don't leave now they will die, it's not going to be an issue, is my theory. Folks, we did it. Another one bites the dust.
It's done.
Yeah, that's what I said. What else do I say at the end of every episode? Well, one, should this channel, whatever this thing is, ever make monies on this platform, I will be donating 50% of all profits to this lovely organization here. Can I point in the right direction? That's harder to do than one would have you believe. TakeThis.org, a great organization, focuses on mental health combined with sort of gaming, so obviously perfect suit for this channel, as it's sort of gaming related, and also I have had my mental health issues in the past that I have struggled with, so this sort of really hits me to the core, and I want to do what I can to help. So with that in mind as well, on top of which, for every 100 subscribers I get, I will be donating $10 to the organization. So basically, if you do not hit that like button, oh god, I can't believe I just said that, I don't like doing it, or subscribe to the channel, you're basically a non-D&D style monster, because it's a couple of clicks. So why wouldn't you, basically? Yeah, see, I don't like for, you know, your likes and subscribes as you do, so instead I bribe for them, is my theory, and a good cause is my other theory. Theories! Folks, we did it! Leaves one thing to say, which is always the final thing to say, which is, of course, it's nice to be nice.